I get a smile. Hey! Welcome to MACE.
Hello everyone, Wylock here. I am back home from MACE, and it was another triumph. Man, it was a good time. We drove down to Charlotte, North Carolina a day early, dropping off the little ones with the grandparents so that we could enjoy our first time together in basically 2 years. And since we got there an entire day early, of course we went to our room and put on Lifetime Christmas movies while intermittently napping. And it was glorious. And then later that evening we got dinner and drinks and then headed on downstairs. I love the Thursday night pre-gaming. There's only like a dozen of us there. Got the whole floor to ourselves. We can just relax, lounge, game, settle in, and just catch up with each other since last year's con. I also brought my complete Tomb of Horrors with me. There were no events scheduled in the crafting room for all of Friday, so I could commandeer a bunch of tables and set it up just to have it on display. And I saw folks going in and out all Friday getting pictures and talking about it. That was pretty cool. Took us a good hour and a half to set up though. Never gets any easier. By next year I will surely have White Plume Mountain all completed, so my plan is to bring that one in 2022 and set it up on display, just for the sake of display. And I took a little time to get comfortable in what would be my table for my Mind Flayer Lair games. This was the full Mind Flayer dungeon, lock, stock, and barrel, as I did in the video last year, but I'll talk about that later. And again, being without the little ones, for real, for the first time in like 2 years, we went for a little stroll and just savored the silence. Took a look around, see what we could find. In here they were assembling the Primo bags that you could purchase as part of your ticket. I think they were specifically to celebrate the 25th anniversary of MACE. That's Jeff. Jeff's one of the two masterminds behind the whole thing. And the guy networks like a boss. The other head on the horse is Ron. Here's Ron.
Hi, Ron.
No, I've never been to a massive con before, those 50,000 people type things. Can't really imagine I would totally enjoy it. I really feel cozy in the footprint of this floor space, and it being my third time attending, it's sort of old hat. This hotel sort of feels like a vacation home. Soon this hallway would start to bustle with activity as vendors come in and start to set up, and we'll get a look at them later. But yeah, it's nice digs. I'm guessing you could do a lot worse as far as con settings go. And you can meet some new people, like the guys who were setting up the video game room.
So nice to meet you. My name is Jonathan Barrio. I'm the Executive Director of the Charlotte Gamers Network. We're so excited to be here at MACE 2021, celebrating their 25th anniversary. Our organization is here tonight. We're loading in, and we're going to be producing the video game room here at MACE Charlotte. They haven't had one in a few years, so we're super excited, and we hope you join us. Come through and check out MACE, and come check out the Charlotte Gamers Network right here in the Walden Room.
Yep, cool.
Thanks, brother.
Thank you.
You got it, man.
And MACE is all about gaming. Not nerddom in general, but really focused on gaming. For example, in the Play to Win board games room, they had all of this laid out. I'm just going to scan and let this play out in real time as it goes on and on and on and on. Also the annual charity raffle. There were 4 or 5 massive bundles of goodies up for grabs. Also, I met up with David of Arcvane Art. You may recognize that name, he posts in the group occasionally. And he painted this picture of me. Isn't that cool? Boy, if that's not an ego trip, then I don't know what is. He's done some studio work, including for the upcoming Wayward Realms, but also does some freelancing. Check him out, Arcvane Art. Then it was time for me to play in Scotty's game. He ran this session like 5 or 6 times over the whole weekend. It uses his Easy D6 system, and it was an off-brand Star Trek themed scenario. You know, there's nothing like feeling you're at the peak of your game, and then you play on someone else's terrain. You go back to the OG, and you get recalibrated. It is not about the epicness or grandeur of the result. It's about innovation, cleverness, simplicity, and enjoyment. testament to matte and scatter terrain as opposed to bespoke, fully built set pieces. His scene changes were seamless, and the table looks just dense enough that we're able to use our imaginations to fill in the rest. Textbook. Anyway, in this scenario, our captain beamed down by himself to investigate a planet-side anomaly, then we lost contact. We had to follow, have a run-in with a hostile alien species, rescue him so he could take credit later, and prevent the enemy from inadvertently activating a galactic-wide doomsday weapon. And we succeeded.
I was impressed.
Thanks so much, everybody. That was so much fun.
Thanks, Scotty.
Can we get like a group picture?
Saturday morning, it was time for the craft-off. Here's Jeff with the rules.
But for those of you who were here last year, and it worked out really well, last year we did a contest to where you got a miniature, and then you had to build your terrain based on what that miniature is. So I decided to do the same thing this year, so at least you still have, at that point, a starting point. You have some idea. It's not just, oh crap, what do I do? And you look around to see what everybody else is doing. Now you have a miniature and you need to build some terrain feature that benefits, speaks to, captures the essence of that miniature. You all will randomly choose a container. Open the container up. You cannot take these home. No one can take these home this year because these belong to my gaming group. So those have to stay here with me because otherwise I'm in trouble. And then if Roger...
Yeah, so the miniature I drew was this prospector dude. He's got a shovel over his shoulder. And historic and modern stuff is not my forte. So I had to spend several minutes just sitting there thinking of something, because I was at a loss. Though I didn't have it as bad as Jim. His miniature was a snowman. You know what? Here's just a couple of minutes of ASMR from the room.
I did buy some of that. If you will, if you want to start with it. So I go direct to Star Wars.
Everybody remind Ron every 5 minutes. Somebody different has to remind Ron how much time.
You're in the wild. We stay in the elusive. I don't know what's making that sound. Yeah, I don't know what's making that sound.
Is this the same one we have?
And I don't know if I'll use it, but I get it because it's like he brings in tags. Where's the nearest bathroom?
Wash it on. Hey, I'm already done.
Oh, is this yours?
I don't think
Or nerds?
Or nerd.
Yeah, like large nerds.
Yeah.
Same company.
Oh wow! And I was like, that's.
And it's not here, right? There's none of that here, right?
Santa Claus does it so.
Mine's not Christmas themed. I wish mine was Christmas themed. I could have used that a lot earlier.
No, it's like, whatever. Half of them will fall off in the next hour.
Gotta tell them from Halloween. Yeah. Really low. I'm doing it in a minor key.
Santa Claus.
Oh, that was dope.
No, did that work?
I'm testing the hell power. There's no.
Do not wipe them on your pants.
Oh.
Those are your good jeans. Oh, is that your palette? Your
Whatever space I can.
painter's palette.
Anything.
Whatever space I can get for point.
See, that may be
another and there's another bag over here.
It migrated somewhere.
It migrates.
Well, they've done that. You look at a bunch of these shows, especially, I really enjoy watching Fortune 5. And you sit there and they're making all this stuff, making all this stuff.
After 4 hours, it was drop what you're doing, time to judge. As you may recall, last time Scotty won Best Overall, so he carried the coveted golden mace and was the main judge. The judging was blind and there were 5 categories: Best Use of Materials, Best Painting, Best Story, Overall Runner-Up, and Best Overall. Somehow, I won Best Overall, despite 2, maybe 3 other entries that I thought probably should have gotten it. And we'll pan around here and get a look at all of the entries. I particularly think that the flash busting through the brick wall was the absolute coolest. But hey, at the end of the day, we're talking about a basketball mounted to a pole and spray painted gold. And there were dedicated prizes, but everybody in the room made out with some sort of loot anyway, including leftover Proxen hot wire tables. Plural. This is what I meant by Jeff networking. Look at all this stuff that he was able to score in support of this conference. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Proxen and Plaid, tremendous allies to our community and our hobby. Now, I cannot speak for MACE in any official sense, of course, but surely there's no issue with me saying thank you to Proxen and Plaid on behalf of MACE. Anyway, here's a close-up of my entry. Again, the miniature was a prospector with a shovel, but I don't have the miniature because it's Jeff's. But I knew that story would be important in the judging, so I tried to bake in a little weird something going on here, not just have it be a set piece. Why is there a skeleton underneath? Is he being buried or dug up? Does the prospector know that it's there? And what role did this vein of gold ore play into the whole scenario? For my efforts, I got the craftiest goblin plaque and the golden mace of MACE. Autographed by Scotty in 19, and I'll have to add my own now. Now the 2 D&D 5th edition games I ran, not Adventurers League, just straight up 5th edition one-shots. The scenario I came up with to use my Mind Flayer lair was that the players were being pitted against each other so that the Mind Flayers could find their new champion. You know, you might even call this player-on-player competition being led by tentacle-headed monsters a Squid Game of sorts. If you're watching this in the future, Squid Game was a show on Netflix that was very popular at the time of this conference. Anyway, this gave me all the remaining playtest data I needed to refine and finally publish my new module centered around a Mind Flayer lair. Look for that to come out within the next 6 months or so. To the players in these groups, if you're watching this, thank you very much. I had a lot of fun DMing it. I spent the rest of Saturday evening walking around the game demos and getting a look at all the vendors. Scotty ran his own booth this year. And the main vendor room, man, it is an onslaught of colorful geekdom. It is hard not to want to buy everything. Let me just show you around the room, see if anything piques your interest. The Dice Hut. okay if I put this on YouTube?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Go for it.
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. Are you okay if I include you? Want to throw us a wave? Interesting stuff there.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
I have too much of a collection at home, so this is the excess.
Yeah.
So these are our Dragon Egg dice holders. They hold one set of dice on the top, one set on the bottom. And the crack helps you line up perfectly every time. And the texture is meant to mimic the feeling of dragon scales. Actually based it off of a bearded dragon. We also have painted selection of eggs you can see here as well. These are all hand painted with acrylics and sealed for longevity. And they have some pretty incredible reveals as well sometimes on the inside.
Yeah.
They are quite lovely and ooey gooey. Then we have the Eldritch Horrors, which in addition to holding one set on the top and the bottom, also have this lovely beak on the bottom of them, the ideal height for biting the head off of a mini that happens to be annoying you. And for the modern gamer, these double as a cell phone or tablet holder. This will actually hold up to a 15-inch iPad or your cell phone. I've yet to find a cell phone that can defeat it. They hold them very well. And this one also happens to look just generally like the thing out of your nightmare, so that's always nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Ticks all the boxes.
It does. And then there is the Holy Dice Grenade. Bless this thy Holy Dice Grenade. So for these, first of course you must remove thy holy pin. Then count to 3, no more, no less. Then they open up and that'll hold about 100 dice on the inside. They also make an excellent dice rolling cup if you just want to be able to roll them up and out. Ooh, an 18, very nice. That's a hell of a roll. And if you buy our Divine tier, it comes with a custom pin, custom painted, actual dice grenade itself. This wood burned box, which, pick that up so you guys can get a chance to see the engravings there. The Welsh dragon on the side as well.
Yep.
The polyhedrals on the top there.
Gotta have them.
And this beautiful design here as well. And these are done by our friend Bookie, who makes these absolutely incredible and beautiful wood-burned boxes.
Yeah. Cool.
So all of that together, as well as the felt-lined and protected interior, And we give an excerpt from the Book of Polyhedrals, which tells the tale of Saint Gygax rolling, taking the holy dice green upon high, so that with it you may smite your foes into tiny crits in thy mercy.
All right. Thanks, man.
There you go.
All right. And
My
that
pleasure.
is
Rad Dice and Gaming,
Rad Dice and Gaming.
raddicing.com.
I made off with some loot as well. Didn't really need any of this, but you know, support the vendors. I bought this big D20, it's solid metal, the thing weighs like half a pound, and it's in that brilliant Wylock blue. Perfect! Bought it and used it at my games over the weekend. This set of metal dice, also very heavy. I bought this one from that rad games table you saw earlier. Shockingly, only $20. I would normally expect to pay like $40 or $50 for a metal set like this, especially since they come in this beautiful black leather bag. Feels fantastic. And I picked up a copy of Fizbin's. I'm not super impressed by it, but it's pretty for my library. And support local. Anyway, that was my experience at MACE 2021. There's a half dozen faces now that I'm used to seeing there that I count as close friends. Met some fans as well, did some surprise flash giveaways of things I brought, like my ping pong beholders. And man, is it good to be around people again. And on Sunday morning we rolled out. Time to start preparing for next year.